So here is my idea. I've always wanted to drive my Sinclair C5 from my workshop at home all the way to the top of the Malvern Hills. Now, when these first come out in 1985, they had a top speed, apparently, of 15 mile an hour and a range of 20 miles. After testing my standard one out, I found it was nowhere near that. We had a top speed of 10 mile an hour and a range, after driving around my garden for 30 minutes, of just under 3 kilometers. Unfortunately, after the range test, I totally burnt the motor out. So I took that old motor out and fitted a much better heavy duty one, and also a much bigger 72 volt battery that's gonna get us the distance. After all that was done, the C5 suffers with one big problem. It's only one-wheel drive. Now, if we're gonna get up them hills, we need at least two-wheel drive. So let's strip it back down, see what we can do. Let's go. And there we go, we've stripped it down. I didn't put it together properly, you know, all the nuts were loose, so come apart nice and easy. You can see our bearing. Remember, I crushed it up with the impact gun to give us our two-wheel drive and do a few donuts on the grass. And looking at it, it's absolutely wrecked, that bearing, which is unfortunate, but I've got some bits. I spent a load of money on parts with Sam at the C5 depot. Basically, if you've got one of these, he's the main guy that sells all the original bits, which is awesome. We got some new tyres. These are Continental. The original ones actually say Sinclair on them. Well, the backs don't, because they're like BMX tyres. We've also got inner tubes, brake cables. We've got the reflective stickers for down the sides, stickers for the wheels. And there is our rear bearings that I've bought. And also I bought another one of those little bearings. Remember last time, it goes in that cog, it's like a one-way bearing. I thought I was going to crush it getting it back in, but it actually went in fine. So we've got a spare, which I think we're going to use today. I did buy stainless steel with the 20 mil, so the bearing does slip on that nice. So we've got all the parts. Let's try and make our one-wheel drive C5 two-wheel drive. Let's go. So I suppose the ideal thing is to get this wheel in the lathe and like machine this middle out so we can fit our bearing. Let's get the wheel off. Oh, look at that. Look at them little shoes. They're lovely, aren't they? A lot of thought was put into this when it was made, because I mean, they're awesome. There's our little bearing, look, just sat on a taper. Yeah, awesome. So let's see, where's the screwdriver? Let's see if we can pull the whole middle out of this. No way. That middle pops out. There's nothing. The middle of that wheel is totally empty. I wonder if our bearing, or it goes, it kind of, it's half in. I'll tell you what, it's a plastic wheel, so if we get it in the press, we need to get like a good fitment to this bearing so it don't slip. Oh, let's get it in the press and crush it in. Let's get a socket. That one will do, I think. Now this is where I shatter the wheel or something, but I'm hoping, because I mean it's nearly in there. Let's see how it does. Oof. It's starting to make a bit of a noise. Let's get the cap and see how far. Let's let it off and see if we can put our cap on yet. There's still a little gap there. Let's pop that off and let's do it just a little bit more. It's making that horrible noise though. I'll tell you what, that is tight in there. But, oof, it's in. Now's the question, did I put that in the right way round? That's something I should have checked. Well, we had a 50-50 chance, and let me just do it. We got it right. So with the axle accelerating, it grabs the wheel and then you let off and it freewheels. Awesome. The bearing I've measured in between these two caps that sit on the outside and inside of that wheel, and we've got a distance there of 33 mil, and that center bush bearing that I just pressed in is 26 mil. So we still want these to be wobbly so we can adjust that bearing up and, you know, the wheel's not going to fall off. So I reckon let's take that out of there. That is tight in there. I definitely crushed that bearing in well. There we go. And we need to cut a 31 mil piece off that. So even though we want 31 mil, I'm going to mark it at 34 mil. And then that means when I hack it off with a grinder, we got some wiggle room. It is stainless steel, but eventually get through it easy. Then I'll put it in the lathe and take the face off and get it down to exactly 31 mil. And by doing that, it leaves us with this very nice circular pattern so I can see where the middle is. Ideal. Let's get the center punch on it and give it a tappy tap tap. And let's get it back in the lathe and give it a drill. 12.5 mil drill bit, straight through stainless. Tell you what, no problem. I'll show you these actually. So these drill bits I bought 2 years ago off Amazon, 29 quid. I'll see if I can find them and put the link in the description. I haven't blunted them yet. They fire through anything with just, you have to watch it on a drill. If you've got it in the high torque mode, because they're that grippy, it just like whips the drill round. But mint they are, buy some of those. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, stainless steel. Goes straight through like butter. Ideal. And there we go, all done. This was actually 14 mil in the end, which was lucky for me because I didn't get my center punch spot on, so I honed it out and it's perfect now, which is ideal. I did have a center punch thing for the lathe, but I've lost it somewhere. Don't know where it is. Right, let's slip it on and have a look. Oh, it's like butter. Let's get the other cap on. There we go. That is ideal. I've drilled a hole all the way through, so I'm just gonna hammer a, whatchamacallit, cotter pin, roll pin, whatever they're called, through that. I'll probably make that a bit bigger actually, give it some more girth. And job's a good one. We should have a 2-wheel drive C5. Awesome. Do the lock nut up. I did remember to put the new bearings in and grease them up before I put the roll pin in the second time. Let's have a look, see if it works. Spin the axle up, stop. Yes, look at that, ideal. We now have a 2-wheel drive Sinclair C5. Awesome. On with the next problem, which is the chassis. So when I bought the bits off Sam, he said anything more than 500 watt motor, and I've got a 3000 watt, will split the chassis in half. So he told me what to do, so let's crack on. Right, what he said was, see these spot welds that go all the way down there? That's just where the two halves of the chassis have been spot welded together. They go all the way down the spine of this chassis and to the back here, and you can see it's already started opening, and that's our problem, is too much power through it twists it and it stresses it on those spot welds, which, there's a screwdriver, that one there, that's already coming apart, isn't it? Hopefully that weren't the donuts I was doing the other day in the garden. Easy fix. I'll just get the welder and I'll just run a bead of weld all the way down, nice and hot, so it melts through and totally sticks that chassis together. I could cut this spine off and weld a bit, cut it, weld a bit, but I don't want to put heat in this. It's not flimsy, but it will move if I put too much heat in it. The other thing is this here, for some reason, there's just an hole in the chassis where it comes round to the rear axle. So apparently, sort of just here, where the top of that hole is, it cracks across there and down. So that's not good either. So I'll put a plate across the top of that and just make it real strong. And once that's done, there was another hole underneath as well, which made it even weaker. So it was just this outside sort of leg where it comes around was holding the rear axle in. But yeah, it's super strong now. Not gonna split in half when we're popping some wheelies up the hills, which is awesome. And yeah, I wanna drive this up there tomorrow morning. So we've gotta pull our finger out now. Let's get this back together. So I think we'll get the chassis outside, give it a nice coat of lovely black, and then we'll get it back in, fit our motor and battery and a lot of our new parts, and then we're just left with cleaning up the body. I don't think being sat on top of my spray booth for the last 6 years has done it any good at all, to be honest. I suppose putting a car on bake in the oven, that's 65 degrees, heat rises, and just whatever dirt was stuck on this is like soaked into the plastic. I tried jet washing it for over 40 minutes, getting the nozzle real close, putting different detergents, cleaners and everything on it. It just didn't shift it. I even tried Scotch pads, but yeah, it's proper soaked in. You can see just like real grime. It could do with a paint. I like the John Player special, you know, colours, black with the gold stripe or something like that. It'd be awesome, wouldn't it? But I'd have to order in some special plastic primer that flexes, because obviously this has got a lot of flex in it. But yeah, I'm going to pop this on now. 4 screws, wiring and handlebars. We're ready to rock. Sound. And that's it, we are off on our epic journey to the top of the Malvern Hills. So before I set off, I had to do a few stretches because of all that pedalling we're probably not going to be doing. And because this C5 is such an iconic British machine, good morning, I had to practice my greetings because a lot of people, good morning, gonna say hello this morning. Good morning. I started off with the normal ones, good morning. And then each time, good morning. Try to make it a bit more British. And then going back to the stretches, yeah, I ain't gonna be pedaling. There's only one muscle I need to warm up here. On this C5, I did print out a rear reflective mask to go on the back. Because you're so low, it's hard for cars to see you. But the problem is, it just looks awful, doesn't it? Now outside my house is a 60 mph limit, and because I'm only on setting 1, going 15 mph in a 60 is not great, so I'm just going to stick to the paths. Also, for the people that are saying 3000 watt is illegal for the roads, it now identifies as a 250 watt motor. The paths outside my house are absolutely awful, covered in crud. Hopefully I don't get a puncture. Riding along the open road, it's funny because I can already hear the cars both sides slowing down to just have a look what this thing is. It's awesome to drive. And eventually though, we run out of path, we have to get on the open road. So this is where I want to stretch its legs and open it up, going down to the roundabout as we get into Malvern Link and just hit some standstill traffic. Stuck in traffic now for over 5 minutes. Can't really filter up the outside in case I get run over. So I think because it's lunchtime traffic, I'm going to pull into my parents' house and go and have a cup of tea. Their road is about 150 metres long, but I opened it up and we got up there in no time at all. So we're here at last at the base of the Malvern Hills. It was a nice cup of tea at my mum's house. Did just the job. The traffic did die down a bit, but it still took like 1 hour and 20 minutes to get up here. It was all uphill. I've pulled over just for, I'll probably give it 15 minutes because it proper stinks of like, this motor's getting a bit warm, to be honest. Update on the C5. The brakes are shocking. Pretty much the front brake doesn't even work, so it's going to need disc brakes. But yeah, quick drink stop. All this pedalling has got me thirsty. Yeah, we're on the last stretch now, the home stretch to the finish. So let's go. So I suppose this is where I've got to pretend to pedal. Oh, that is hard work. Just in case anybody goes, you can't ride that up here. Hopefully the camera's not wobbling about too much. Let's just get on a better bit. Oh. It's coming up here all right anyway. Just brake. Let's just see how hard it is to pedal. Oh, holy. Oh. There ain't going to be no pedaling. Let's go. All right. I know, yeah. I was going to try and pedal, but there's no chance. See, I suppose the problem is now it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Me saying good morning and practicing that, it's now good afternoon. Right, come on then. Let's see how we go up here. 82 volts. So I put a battery meter in this before I set off and charged the battery, and it actually said 84 volts instead of 72 volts. And now we're on 82 volts and it still says 100% battery, which I think this gauge is wrong because we've come all the way up here. Hey, up, push bike. Hello. I think he was gobsmacked. Right, let's keep going. Plain sailing. Oh. Malvern Hills fixture. Let's go over here. Malvern Hills fixture roadway. I suppose Most bikes now have suspension on, don't they? Hello. All right. Oh, this is awesome. Let me pause up here. Look at that for a view. And how quiet is this? It's brilliant up here. I should come up here more often. Do 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 do. I just had a bit of wheel spin then from the one side. So hopefully my two-wheel drive ain't breaking. Right, let's get a bit of power. Let's go. If we pause it here, we can see, can we see my house? No. It's around the corner. Let's go a bit further. I think our two-wheel drive is struggling. Thank you. Cheers. Oof. Right, we're going to have to pause. We're going to have to pause here because that is stinking. Smelling burnt out. Right, where's our house from here? So it is all the way down there. That's how far we've come. You can probably tell this is the windy side of the hill, but we've only got a little bit more to go. It's just up round the corner. This does smell up here though. Let me just jump off. Wow, ow, these are mega warm. Let's just let it cool down for 2 minutes. Yep, paraglider. Coming into land. So that hill has totally burnt it out. We got nothing. The motor is smoking like crazy and the wind's terrible here, but it's only there, the beacon, so I'm not going to be beat. We're going to push it the last bit. So let's go. how close we were to doing it. Oh, let's go around the corner. Well, we made it. Just not in one piece. Time to go back, put a new motor in it, and then we need to see how fast it'll go. What a shame. So you know, we just couldn't leave it at that sad ending. We've still got to find out how fast this now goes with a 3000 watt motor in. So I got it back on the ramp. I'm hoping to try and get this motor out without taking the body off. So getting it up in the air, getting the wheel off, I can see it nice, and undoing all them bolts, it comes out. Once I got it in the vise, took the 3 bolts that hold it together out and pulled it apart, and you can just see in there is absolutely melted. I suppose the location where it is, there's not really any wind that will go through it and cool it down, so hopefully this new motor that I've got is not going to do the same. If you look at the readouts of the two, it's actually got a higher rated speed. So I've bought a bicycle helmet with me and a set of gloves in case the worst happens, but yeah, it'll be good to see how fast this goes now with this new motor that's 12 times the power of the original. Let's find out. All right, let's go down. Let's get a long run up. This is going to be epic. Will I make it round? Let's pull this in a bit. Oh, we've lost a cap off the wheel. Right, 3, 2, 1, we're back in the room. Let's have one more go. Let's pull this in a bit so we're a bit closer to us. Right, are we ready? Power 3? Yeah, let's go. Wow, that's smelling. Let's turn around and go the other way. That got warm. Awesome. What's it say on our phone? Where is the phone? 43 mile an hour. Come on. That's only 107 off the world record, so it's pretty close. Right, we'll go and let this cool down for a minute and then we'll have a chat about it. Woo! Yes. 43. I'm quite chuffed with that. Awesome. Back to the studio. I'll tell you what, I have absolutely loved working on this thing. What an amazing piece of British history. You know, the engineering that went into this and the idea behind it. It's just such a shame it didn't take off. It's awesome. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Back to cars next, I expect. And I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da.